Hello, I'm Seana Zelazo, author of The Way of Inanna, a heroine's guide to living unapologetically. And I'm going to be doing a series of 7 short videos to help introduce you to the Way of Inanna. Each of the chapters is set up to mirror one of the 7 gates Inanna comes to in her initiatory process. And each of these gates is correlated with one of the 7 chakras. And noteworthy is that we don't move from these chakras sequentially, in that we don't move neatly from the root all the way up to the crown. And that is by design. So I'm going to explain to you why. At the back of the book, there is an appendix that lists the gate, the associated guidance with that particular gate, as well as the correlated chakra. And on the back of that appendix or chart is a note about why it's not sequential. So I'm just going to read a little bit from that. The classification of the chakra system as numerically ordered and linked developmentally according to a particular chronology is useful. However, given the simultaneity of our soul level experience in space and time, such a classification presents a challenge. Indeed, the processual nature of a wheel defies a definitive linear process. And so ultimately, the Way of Inanna is your way. It is about your unique heart. And your healing is not linear or sequential. It is unique to you. The gates are set up in this book with a hymn or myth of Inanna, as well as an analogous contemporary challenge, followed by a healing intervention that is meant to support the healing of the chakra that's associated. And this is important because ultimately, in our ascension process, we must come into a place of wholeness by virtue of healing. So if we're holding density, wounding in any of our energy centers, it's important for this to be healed so that we can lift that to a higher vibration and ultimately rise. So the particular gate that we start with is in gate 1 is related to Inanna's most popular myth, the descent of Inanna. And in this particular gate, which is the call to spirit, Inanna explores faith in herself. And this is ultimately connected to our crown chakra. The myth, the descent of Inanna, is a myth wherein Inanna is called to venture into the underworld. And this is a world from which no one returns. Inanna understands this, and yet something encourages her to go forward nonetheless. And this is ultimately her faith in herself. Something tells her from her inner experience that she will rise. This is how she teaches us about faith in ourselves. And ultimately, this myth, this particular story, the descent, is all about testing our faith. But Inanna teaches us that in the testing, our faith gets strengthened. I'm really excited for you to journey through this particular gate with Inanna. And please stay tuned for the 6 subsequent videos to follow. Thank you so much for tuning in.